Hi, everybody. Looks like we are having issues again in going live on Facebook. So I'm going to leave it at that. But we are live elsewhere. Hey, Adam. Very nice to see you. Welcome. Who else do we have here today? I may look a little bit all over the place because not keeping well, but very okay to talk and show you what we have today. Hey, Tony. Hey, Kelv. Hey, Kelv. Um, hey, creative minded. I think I don't know your name or do I? Hey, Tina. Welcome to today's stream. And today we are going to talk about how much does it cost to build a WordPress VAS. Hey, Greg. Um, so all the way from Michigan. Welcome. Hey, Adam. I think we know each other from Twitter. So, hey, hey, Antonio. Hey, Chris. So nice to see so many people have joined in. Uh, Good day from Canada. Thank you. Same to you. Hey, Gabriel, New Jersey. Amy from Oakland, Canada, or California, I think. Right. Um, all right. So thanks everybody for joining. Let's get started. Thanks, Adam. Hey, Adele from Florida. So let me add the presentation to the stage. So in this, I think we can get started now. We have a lot of people joined in, tuning in from all over the places. And first of all, thank you everybody for tuning in. Today we are going to talk about how much does it cost to build a WordPress VAS. So those who are not aware what is a VAS, it's called as website as a service or WordPress as a service. Doesn't really matter. And I already did Hey, Jermaine. So I already did a VAS webinar, so you can find that on our webinar page. Maybe Shivanshi can paste that at the end of this webinar. In this webinar, however, we are going to talk about what is the cost associated and what are the different components associated when building a VAS. I have already covered, as I said, how to build a VAS and a proper walkthrough of doing it the right way. Today, this is mostly focused on cost of building a VAS and what are the various components associated with it. The topics for today would be just a quick overview about VAS. What are the VAS building blocks? How to go about choosing a hosting for your VAS, payment processing, cost of building, and some of the real world examples. So I hope everybody's tuned in and let's get started. Hey, Jack. Jack. Maybe I'm not pronouncing your name correctly. Greetings from Poland. Hey, Jermaine. All right, so let's go to the next slide. So, what is a VAS, right? Just a quick overview, those who are not aware. VAS, as I said, it stands for Website as a Service. Using VAS, you can sell a ready-made website to anyone on the internet, right? It's one of the easiest way to add a recurring revenue to your business. A lot of agencies are struggling or constantly struggle with how to they add a recurring source of revenue in addition to the custom services they are already offering. So this is one of the way to do that. You and not only just agencies, right? So the product companies, any other companies who are in the website building business, a theme company or a plugin company also can get benefited from it. Users simply go through a checkout process to get a ready-made website. So as simple as like you have built your own Shopify or Wix or something which is like just plug and play. Um, One of the major challenges with WordPress is that users are not it is not that easy for a newbie or a beginner to onboard to WordPress, and that's what you can make it easy for them. Works best when you target a niche. Let's say you target a lawyer niche or a yacht niche or a doctor's dentist niche. That so WASP works best in these niches and when you automate the entire thing. So we'll talk about that. And feel free to post your questions. I will try to cover them during the presentation if they are related to what I'm speaking right now. Otherwise, I will tend to them at the end of the presentation. Thank you. So what are the different building blocks when it comes to WAS? So first and foremost is an installability account because we are talking about installability and how to build WAS with installability. And the WAS building process or WAS building feature starts with the Pro plan, which costs you $19. And we'll talk about costing very detailed in one of the upcoming slides. Then you have to have, if you are using premium theme or plugins, then you have to find out from the vendor that are you allowed to sell licenses in this way. What we have seen so far is 99% of the time they are okay as long as you have a multi-site license, not the multi-site in terms of like WordPress multi-site, but the license which you have can be sold to multiple users, right? So once you have that, then it should not be a problem. Identifying a hosting company. So there are multiple options. We will cover them in various details. Briefly speaking, we have InstaWP Live and some of the supported providers which you can use as a hosting company. Building a website or a template, as we call it, which people would like to buy. This is extremely crucial. This is basically should have been the first point in this presentation, is that you should decide on what you're selling. If you are selling, let's say, a lawyer related website or a CRM website, which people just like click and get a website. So you decide on that niche, find out what people want. Maybe we can do a separate webinar on how to find such niches so that you can start thinking about these lines on these lines. And the last part of this is the payment gateway setup to collect payments, because once the user goes through a checkout flow and they get a website, it's important for them to be able to pay and for you to be able to collect the payments. All right, so going to the next one. What is so hosting for WAS, right? So let's dive a little bit deeper into that. So we support two types of provider. One is a managed provider, which is our own, which we call as InstaWP Live. It's natively supported through and through, no problem with that. We do the maintenance of the servers. We do all the heavy lifting. We provide end user support as well. So for your clients, we can do hosting support because we will do that anyway. Or you can use a third-party provider, where you do the maintenance of the servers and you will have to provide the support for the WordPress website which you are launching with these providers. So currently we support RunCloud and Server Avatar. So these are our supported providers. These are essentially control panels built on top of DigitalOcean, Vultr, and other cloud providers. So you can use any of the cloud providers with RunCloud and then host your website. So we are basically adding more such providers very soon. We were focusing on InstaWP Live for the last few weeks, and now we are shifting focus to third-party providers as well. So you will soon see Serbolt, Cloudways, Rocket, and GridPaint into the mix. So let's talk about a little bit about InstaWP Live, right? So why you should go for it and why we recommend it. So it's an instant setup, one-click WordPress installations, SSL pre-installed, pre-configured for optimal WordPress performance, flexible and scalable. So you can scale up to 30 dedicated CPUs or 110 CPU bus support. The pricing is really good. The pricing is not as compared to the shared hosting providers of the world, but when you compare it to the managed hosting, such as WP Engine or Kinsta, you will see that the pricing is really good. And when you go with volume, we can give you, we can talk about very nice deals together. Then we have robust security protocol, regular update, snappy dashboard, and most importantly, we have inbuilt CDN backups and WAF, which protects the websites. So that's why you should go for InstaWP Live. But when we talk about cost, this may be one of the challenge. So that's why we support a third party provider, or you may like a particular provider, right? So I don't want you to limit your building process just with our solution. Ours is one of the good ones. But if you have your own, which we support or which we can support, uh, feel free to do that. So let's talk about the payment processing. Um, Obviously, as I said, when the user is going through a checkout, they can use two methods. One is a native method, which we call it InstaWP payments. We take 7% cut on every transaction. 93% is yours. It's fully integrated into our UI. It's just a very basic 5-minute setup where you enter your phone number and bank account. And we use Stripe Connect in the background. So just so you know, and in case you have any challenges with the Stripe Connect in the past. The Stripe Connect is a feature from Stripe where any company can become a marketplace, and that's what we have done. So you sign up as a seller with us, and then you can integrate payments with VAS. Or we support third-party checkout methods. For example, we support WooCommerce, WHMCS, SureCard, Easy Digital downloads. And these are all available on GitHub, our GitHub repository. And let me just paste the links so that you can take a look at it at a later point of time. But all of these are available in our documentation. If you go through the website, all of these are available. And feel free to talk to our support. We'll be able to give you more information. All right. So I think, and I hope so far, so good. All right. So let's dive into cost of building a VAS. But before we do that, let me go back and give you a small demo of what a VAS looks like. So let me share my screen and just give me a moment. All right. I hope my screen is shared and I'm going to the VAS area. All right. So let me refresh. So this is when you have done the VAS building part, right? So remember we had like different components which makes a VAS. So one of those component is the template or the website itself, which you will be selling. The website will have pre-installed content, pre-installed theme, pre-installed plugins. It's a complete website itself in itself. And let's say it's an e-commerce website and you can give a link to your customer like what I have shown on the screen. And what they can do is either you can offer them multiple templates to choose from. Let's say you are selling e-commerce, but one for beauty, one for health, one for grocery, or multiple templates in the same niche. Let's say in the health niche or in the beauty niche, you can let them choose between templates. If you don't give a choice of template, the first step will be skipped together altogether. And this is the vast checkout flow when you are not using a third-party checkout like WooCommerce. So let's select one of the templates. As a user, I'm going to select this is what I need. Click on continue. Next, I'm going to choose a hosting plan. This is the hosting plan which you have created, right? Under the hood, you might be paying us or a third-party supported hosting company, let's say $9 or $5 or whatever that amount may be, but you can charge the user as much as you want to. And that's what I've created. So I've created two plans. One is a free plan just to show you without entering any credit card. But if I choose a pro plan and if I click continue, I'll be asked for a credit card number. And this, remember, will be linked to your HWP seller account. And that's how easy it is, right? So let me just refresh and try to select the same template, but this time I'm going to select the free plan and it won't ask me for a credit card. So I'm going to enter my details and enter a domain name. By default, the user gets the website with an instawp.app domain. However, if you have our white label add-on, which costs you $20 on top of your plan, you can use your own domain as a subdomain provider, right? So then your users will feel more white label-y effect, if that's the right word. So let's type in a keyword and click continue. Now I am going to confirm whatever I'm purchasing is okay. Click on proceed. This VAS is using InstaWP Live in the backend, but uh, you can very well use anything, right? Um, as I said, Run Cloud or Server Avatar or anything can be used without a problem. So let so while this is being completed, I have another screen where this is already complete. So it looks something like this. It takes about a minute or two, depending upon how big the site is and how responsive is the hosting company. So if you're using EastWP Live, it takes about 10 to 15 seconds to create the website and to transfer the template to the website about a minute. If you use Run Cloud or Server Avatar, it's about the same, right? It's very similar. So once the website is ready, you can click on it and the website will be ready for the customer to be used. We automatically install our Connect plugin so that you can do things like magic login to the website and you can manage the website on behalf of your customer. So let's get this. Boom, right? And the user can manage the site using the manage site link. This will allow the user to map a domain themselves. They want to cancel the plan, they can do it. If they want to contact support, your team support or our team support, they can do it from here. So more on this on my previous webinar, you can go and check it out. So I just wanted to give an example of how it looks like. All right, so going back to the slides. All right, so there is a question is about, is there a possibility to sell through WHMCS with your own web hosting packages? Yes, of course. That's what the WHMCS will allow you. You can create your own hosting packages and you can link it to a specific VAS entry in InstaWP. So it becomes another layer on top of your InstaWP setup. So then you can control the entire thing through WHMCS rather than through InstaWP checkout flow. So, and we have a detailed video on the WHMCS GitHub repo. So I'll be happy to share that with you. So let's talk about what is the cost of building a VAS. So there are some fixed costs, obviously. So if you're using the InstaWP Pro plan, you have to pay $19. So it doesn't increase when you sell more sites, right? So it is a constant cost. That's why I have said fixed cost. If you are using a third-party hosting panel, let's say Run Cloud, then you have to pay another $15 on top of that. But that is also fixed cost. Both of our providers don't charge per site. So far, so good. So either one of so $19 is fixed. You have to pay for that. $15 depending upon you are using InstaWP Live or not. Okay. So let's not get bogged down with the fixed cost. That's not what you should be majorly concerned with. What you should be concerned with is the variable cost, which is per site. So if you don't use InstaWP Live, we charge you $1 per site per month. So that is the cost of hosting a VAS or creating a VAS site with us, because we provide the end user portal, the connected site feature, all of that to your customers, and we charge you $1. Since we are not charging you for hosting, you are going with a third-party provider, we will only charge you $1. And about the hosting itself, the InstaWP Live starts at $9 per site when you go beyond 10 cents. So that's $9 per site. Or if you are using a third-party hosting, it comes at about $3, right? Means there are multiple possibilities. So I have made it simple. For example, if you are using a digital ocean droplet, which can host, let's say, up to 20 sites or 10 sites, and the droplet cost is about $40. So overall speaking, a normal static or basic dynamic site will cost you about $3 to $5 when you are using a third-party hosting through Run Cloud or Server Avatar. I am happy to provide like a Google Doc, maybe through our email, which we will send tomorrow, which gives you more insight on how that cost is calculated. But for now, keep this cost in mind. And the third component is the payments part. So if you use our payments, which will be about 7%, it includes everything, including the integration, the payouts and all of that. But if you use a third-party checkout, then you can use your own Stripe account, your own PayPal account, or your own like local payment gateway, right? Doesn't really matter. So that cost comes down. And we are happy if you want to choose a third-party checkout. Not a problem at all. All right, so continued on the last slide. So let's take some examples. So first example is when you are using everything with InstaWP. So let's say you are selling the site for $100 per site, right? Per customer, per site, whatever you want to call it. So you are going to charge them $100 every single month. So the selling price is $100. Transaction cost of the payment gateway is $7, 7%, $7. Hosting cost with InstaWP Live is $9. Then you made $84 at the end of the month for that customer. The advantage of this approach is that it is fully integrated, automated, managed by us. There is zero setup required. Another sample calculation when you are using third-party integrations. So same $100 per site. The transaction cost is less. You pay about 3 to 5%. So let's take the higher end of it is $5. Then hosting cost is less, depending upon how big is the droplet. If you are not aware about how Droplet works and how servers work, basically how much you are paying for the server and how many sites are you hosting in the same server, right? Basically, you are becoming your own shared hosting provider. So the hosting cost is about $3, $4, $5, right? You can keep a range of that. And then you have to pay $1 extra to us since you're not hosting with us. So then you make $91. So there is a difference of about $7. It's the difference in terms of feature set is that it's semi-automated. You have to set up some run cloud. You have to set up a lot of things. It's managed by you, who is providing the service. If a site goes down due to a variety of reason, then you have to provide the support. It requires setup in terms of like the connection. We make it easy, right? It's not that difficult. It's just that you have to take some extra steps. So there's a question from Erdal. If you are using InstaWP Pro plan plus SA, which is Server Avatar, plus Vultr, plus Stripe, are we still paying $1? Yes. So if you are using third-party integrations, so whenever you are not using InstaWP Live, you have to pay $1 to us so that we can make some money when you are creating sites with us. Otherwise, we'll be just making $19 as a fixed cost. And whatever checkouts we are doing through us, or because even though you are using Stripe with, let's say, WooCommerce or EDD, you are still using our APIs, and we are still pinging the site every month, and we are still showing you data. The user will still be able to manage their domain and all of that. So that requires some amount of server resources from us. Hope my answer was a little bit convincing. All right. So I think this is the last or one of the last slides. So some of the real world examples, obviously I cannot take the name of the company who is using this due to obvious reasons, but plugin companies are using VAS. So there's a very popular form plugin which is using it, and other quiz plugin which is using it. How they're doing it is when somebody lands on their homepage or the pricing page, they provide an option that do you have a WordPress site, or you do you need a WordPress site, right? Something along those lines, and then they redirect them to the VAS page or to the InstaWP VAS checkout page. There are agencies who are focused on lawyers, YAD, nonprofits, as I said earlier, doctors, and they target these companies and they give them like an easy way to launch a website. Sometimes it becomes kind of a stepping stone into the larger custom site contract. So you sell it for $100, $200, $500 site, and if they need customization, they pay like another like $2,000 or $5,000 depending upon how much you charge, right? So that can become a really nice use case. ready-made e-commerce sites. As I said, a lot of people are going to Shopify because they don't find an easy way to launch e-commerce sites with WordPress. And then you provide the entire thing, hosted and set up, all of that, and that becomes very, very easy for them. What is the roadmap for VAS? So VAS end-to-end API is coming, so you can build your own integrations with us. We are going to make the WooCommerce and other integration very deep. Right now, how it works is if somebody completes a WooCommerce checkout to buy a website, at the end of the checkout, they get a link to set up the website, and that setup will be done on InstaWP. We are going to get rid of that setup, and everything will happen inside WooCommerce, and they will never see InstaWP. So that is something we are working on. As I told you, we install the Connect plugin on every VAS site. So in future, let's say you want to push an update to all your VAS customer sites. Let's say you updated a plugin or whatever, then you want to push something. We already have the bulk edit feature, but you cannot filter for a specific VAS yet, and we are going to build that filter for you. And then the end user portal, right now it's a very basic portal. People can map a domain or cancel a plan. They cannot upgrade or downgrade a plan. You cannot sell more services through it, right? It has to have or it has to look like a portal, right? Right now it looks a simple receipt. And we are working on more integration for hosting providers. So that is coming very, very soon. If you are interested to try the InstaWP Live, we are giving away $50 as live credits. So you can take a photo of this screen, or you can scan the QR code. You will get a Google form. It's a very basic Google form. Just fill that form. Somebody will reach out to you and add the $50 credit to your account. And then you can use the InstaWP Live service along with the InstaWP. So the $50 can be used for anything, right? You can upgrade to the Pro plan and use it to build your VAS. Thank you, Shivanshu, for posting the link as well. All right, so that's it from my side in terms of the webinar. It was a little bit quick one. So Edal has another question, and anybody has any other questions, please feel free to post them right now. Or I don't make demand right now, but you can post them. So can you provide that link setup as an option? So if we need to charge the customer via check or direct payment, we can still use the current setup. Yes. So if you go to let me share my screen again. If you go to your VAS listing page, click on the drop down, you will see a generate link. And it will generate a unique link for the customer, and it will copy to your clipboard. Let me open it incognito. And if you paste that, it is like a one-time use link, and the user can use it to set up the website. I hope this is what you asked, or I may have mistaken completely. All right. Very interesting, Thomas. Thank you. I have another meeting now. Is it? Yes. So we will send you the recording via email very, very soon. Or I think you can just open I don't know how to share that. Shivanshu, do you know? Or we will email it to you, Thomas, anyway. Or you can go to InstaWP homepage, go to the view webinars page, and we will have the recording there. Yes. What about the white label email? Because when the customer receives the email information, there's the logo. So the logo can be removed. I can share that information. Just give me a second. So go to editing the VAS, go to branding option, and you can upload your own logo. So this logo will be used to send emails to the customers. And you can customize the email here, right? You can customize the subject, body, and all of that. The only thing you cannot customize yet is the sending email ID, right? So that is something we are working. All right, a lot of questions. Thanks, Sarah. Zakaria has a question. Can you please give us more details about what you can do with the white label option? All right, so one of those things we just saw is you can change your logo and all of that. And the most important part is that you can offer them websites with your own suffix domain. So let's say your company name is example.com. You can buy the white label add-on and you can use something like vikas.example.com as a website name for the users to build upon. This will allow you to provide them a more authentic experience. Otherwise, they will end up using InstaWP app as the suffix domain. I hope that makes sense. So it's more about domain right now, but we are going to add more features to the white label part. You mentioned previous webinar. Is there a place? Yes. So I think if you go to our homepage, there is a webinars tab, very red on the side, and you click on it, you will find all the hosted webinars or on our YouTube channel. What sort of terms are typical? Are WP VAS typically transferring ownership any of the website to the VAR? But can they take? Depends. I mean, that's a great question. One of the feature which we have in the VAS builder is that you can assign a particular role to your customer. So let's say you create a custom role, and through that custom role, you hide plugin installation, right? You hide anything which allows the customer to become the administrator of the website. That way, they won't be able to take it to another host. I hope that's your question as far as I can see from here. So you can do that, right? Means you can keep the ownership to your whole thing, right? So users cannot get away. That's not the right way to say it, but yeah. I hope I am answering your questions. Any other questions which I can answer, everybody? I hope this was a productive webinar and you got some information. I know VAS is everybody wants to build a VAS, but there are very less information available online. So my goal is to provide you more and more information. If you need any other like a live VAS building or I don't know, WooCommerce walkthrough or a SureCard walkthrough, please feel free to reply to our emails and tell us. Yeah. Zakaria, thank you for answering another question. Are you planning to add FlyWP and server providers directly? We are not going to add server providers directly like DigitalOcean or AWS because that that will require us to become RunCloud or FlyWP, and that is a huge undertaking. So we are partnering with these companies. So we are partnering with xCloud. FlyWP is on the table. Maybe you can help us expedite that with them. So if they are interested or a lot of users are interested, we are happy to do it. Yes, so there is a way to put a limit on how many websites you can host on a single server. So when you connect your server avatar or RunCloud right now, or soon, let's say FlyWP, you can connect multiple servers. So let's say you have 5 servers. So you connect all 5 of them and you say 100 website or 50 websites per server. So we will do a round robin all of these servers and we will not go beyond 50 servers. If we go beyond 50 servers, you get an email saying that you've crossed the limit, add more servers. So hope that explains that. Thanks, Adam, for that comment. What are the most use cases? As I said, like is ready-made websites for variety of niches. Target customers, right? Depending upon this is a very business-oriented question. I mean, I think we should do a separate webinar on how to find these niches, how to find such customers, how to target these customers, right? Either through Google Ads, through SEO, through cold reach outs. So that is something I will consider as a separate webinar. The generated link, can one use it for different clients? So every time you generate a different link and use it for different clients. Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem. Chris, can you mix up light and boost site on the same plan? Okay, let me understand that. Trying to understand that question. How to same VAS, you mean? Chris, can you explain the question a little bit? Here, Is there a deeper integration coming up with server? For example, they have a separate DB server option for scalability. Do you guys support that with integration? No, not right now. So even if they have separate DB server, right, that doesn't really matter to us. All we need to do is create a WordPress site on their web server. So we can check it out. I'm not sure. It shouldn't be that hard to implement. So I will note that question down. Um, I have not been using the show feature so far. All right, let's take maybe a couple of more questions. Otherwise, we can call it a day. And I'm actually really happy that so many of you have joined and are interested about VAS. So happy. Even though I don't look happy because of I'm not keeping well for the last few days, but I am. Believe me. So, any other question, guys? So, Chris, can you explain the question a little bit? If you are thinking that if you want to create 2 sites in Light Plan and 3 sites in Boost Plan, so yes, you can do that, and we will give you a discount once you cross the 10 site limit. Sure, Adal, we will do that. Yeah, we will check that integration. We will check that possibility tomorrow. I am good friends with Adarsh, so shouldn't be that. We just sure. All right. So thanks everybody. I don't think there are any more questions. Amy, thanks. Thanks, Jeremy, for joining in. Yes. So Chris, that's yeah. So if you are using 3 side, one is light, and the other two need two more. Yes. So that's one of the differentiator between us and other hosting companies is that you can upgrade individual sites to one plan, right? So if you want to use Boost on 2 sites, you can do that. You don't need to buy like Boost all the way or right. So any site, any plan. Is open site supported by InstaWP Live? Zakaria, sorry, no, it's not supported. InstaWP Live only use Nginx in the backend, and we don't support Open Lightspeed. That's why we support third-party providers. Because if you go through Server Avatar, even through Run Cloud, you can launch your own Open Lightspeed servers. I know that's not your question, but I'm just saying that if you want to use, this is your route. Hey, Chris. Looking forward to meet you in Torino. So whoever is coming to Torino, I'll be there. Please come over and say hi to me. I'll be really happy to meet you. Thanks, Adal. So, Greg, will upgrades to the platform affect existing platform? Not sure what you mean. Um, oh, okay. I think what you mean is that when you upgrade like sites or templates, um, does it affect existing created customer site? Is if that is the question, then no. Okay, yeah, maybe another time then. Soon. Yeah, Gabriel. As in, will updates possibly change already existing templates? It will not, unless you do the bulk edit thing, right? So remember, I told you that we install our Connect plugin. So Connect plugin is something like a managed WP or main WP kind of plugin which we have created. So existing sites will not be affected unless you make them right. Only the new sites which will be created from the template will be affected. um, New vast feature is added. What I mean, okay, again, no. So existing sites will not be affected. um, I hope clears that. All right, so I am calling it a day, and thanks everybody for attending this webinar. I really appreciate your time, and let's meet in person in Torino if you're coming. Otherwise, feel free to send us an email via support or to vikas@installp.com. I'm always active on Twitter also. So you can tweet to me at Vikas Bremer. And there are more questions coming. So the updates will come as their own standard plugins. That's right, Gabriel. Errol says, is there a way to add a form to the VAS onboarding flow with dynamic variables, which we can compound? This is one of the things which we have in roadmap. I think right now what you can do is you can use a third-party checkout like WooCommerce, build a form there instead. And once the variables are populated, um, how do we send them to the website itself? That will require some kind of integration from your side, some plugin which you need to create or something. But we will be adding this feature very soon. Please send me what kind of dynamic variables are you imagining, like site name, site description, logo, that sort of stuff, or something else. All right, guys, I think this is our time. Thanks, everybody. I hope you had some information with the VAS, and see you in the next webinar. Bye. All right, we have one more question. So, do you have a timeline for the roadmap? Is that the which roadmap are we talking about? Greg, can you just probably okay, the roadmap which I presented, right? So the whole roadmap will be completed by before end of June or early July. I hope that answers. All right. See you guys. Thank you.